Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With CurtDog.
Welcome to the show. Let's get this party started.
I'm out.
Hopefully, y'all had a great day today.
I'm out.
It wouldn't be allegedly because he was charged.
Welcome to Speak. I'm out. Welcome to Speak. I'm out.
Why, those must be some good wings.
I'm Who You With CurtDog. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With CurtDog. I'm Who You With CurtDog. Yeah, we didn't get a chance to do the show last night, but we here today for lunchtime. So if you normally see replays about this time, no, we are live. We're live, and you can live chat with us in the chat room. We're gonna call it Friday lunch midday with Miss Risky and CurtDog. We are live in the house. What's going on, Miss Risky? How you doing so far?
Hungry. Been doing that fad diet. The Vogue's 1970s fad diet was consists of basically an egg and wine, and then for dinner like a 5-ounce piece of steak. And I think my antidepressants are keeping me, it's not taking me over the edge. So I've been doing fairly well on it. Lost 4 pounds.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
4 pounds. Then you
Gotta
can
get my
drink all
fine
the
on.
wine. And then you drinking wine too.
Yeah, like hydrate. Like I documented it on WordPress, so that'll be coming out at 5 o'clock today. I think it's Latanya H on WordPress if you're interested. So
Latanya H. So doing this fast, have you been able to do some writing or anything? Or I know
what?
you've been.
All of a sudden you went really low.
I don't know why.
Well, no, your voice. Like you came in,
Oh.
and all of a sudden you started whispering.
Well, probably because I was trying to eat some lunch and I had did some. I don't know why, but I popped some popcorn. So, and you know how those kernels get caught up in your throat, and
Yes.
I'm like, oh Lord. So I'm
Makes
trying not to reach in my mouth, put them in a napkin or something. I'm like, oh Lord. But have you been doing some writing since?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay. And how long does this diet last for, in case somebody is interested?
It's just 3 days, and I don't recommend it. It was just something I've seen every year. It pops up in my feed, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this one day. And I was gonna do a TikTok video, but I was like, no, this needs words and pictures.
So, okay. I know we wasn't going to talk about this, but well, let me scan over it real quick. But besides the diet, what else is going on with you?
Nothing. Just binge watching all the true crime series and fun stuff.
Um, okay. I'm trying to scan over the story I just ran by before I do it, if I'm gonna do it. So, but other than that, we had a great week last week. Um, get a lot of feedback a lot of time off there, which is great. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, D Live, all of us. If you want to stay in the know with us, and oh, excuse me. So we're trying to do a lot of other things. Unfortunately, today we are here midday because we couldn't do it last night. Had to get some rest last night. We'll leave it at that. I'm tired, so but we are here live with you today. Let us know. It's summertime. School's gonna be out. What are y'all gonna do this summer? What type of things are y'all gonna do? Oh, what's up, all aboard? Yes, we are live. and said, "What a surprise! Hey, everyone, welcome all aboard. It's in the house. Oh, and all aboard. I'm gonna need to talk to you off the air, off the air, off the air, off the air." But yeah. So, what plans do y'all have for the summertime? Just kind of interesting. What are y'all gonna do? What
Probably nothing the way gas prices keep going up. Like
gas prices and
food, everything's expensive.
airlines? I'm like, what the? They high.
And
Um,
there's no reason for it. It's like, I don't know.
I don't know. It's kind of strange because um, my wife and I we normally take like 2 or 3 trips a year, but I don't know. Now it's kind of rough
I
because
mean, we scheduled our Royal Caribbean cruise because, they came down to an affordable rate for, the Walmartians. So we get to do that. So, and then I had a little bit of a discount through my company, just a smidge. So I was like, let's do it.
okay. Well, I was trying to decide what I was going to do for my 50th. So we have decided, written in stone, got it all set up today. Um, so we're going on a cruise, um, which is going to be interesting. So,
Why?
well, we never been on this cruise line,
Uh,
and I've heard a lot of great things about it. Checking my reviews on it, and I think it's going to be very good. So um, that's what we're doing for my 50th, and I'm gonna see where it goes. I don't know if it comes out the way this is. We probably end up doing a lot more cruising with this particular cruise line.
well, yeah, usually cruises are a go-to. I prefer all-inclusive resorts, but I don't mind a cruise. I mean,
Well, we was thinking about resorts because we prefer those too. But here's the thing with it. I have been searching for a while now, and then I read one particular resort they had on there that you can you get the all inclusive and but it may not be available, and if it's not available they only going to offer you a um, a credit. And I'm like, wait a minute, if you don't have it available, why are you charging all that money? So I told my wife, I said, hey, um, let's do something else because I hate to go to this new place we never been to and then turn around, get there, and get there, and unfortunately they say, oh, all of these are not available, even though you pay for it. They offer us a $30 discount. Be like, no, 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 no. So that was one of my biggest things is the fact that once I read that, I was like, no, let's do something we know that will be there. Um, so we decided on a cruise, and it's actually pretty good. Um, so that was interesting. Now, if you decide to call in, because especially during the day, I get a lot of spam calls, scam likely calls. I just got one, I didn't answer. So if it was somebody calling into the show, you definitely need to uh, make it
call from a
known.
legit number, not one of them fake numbers.
Exactly. Because I'm like, I don't know who this is. Um, it was a 701 number. I'm like, I don't know. I'm getting tired answering the phone and supposed to be talking about, no, no. Or I could give you great rates on your car warranty. No, that's not what I want. I want you to get off my line. So, so definitely, if you're trying to call in, definitely let us know, um, and I will answer then. But before then, no. Um, So I just ran across the story. I was scanning across it. I haven't seen it, but I just seen it just now. Came out earlier today. Um, Texas had declared open season on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube with censorship law. Um, Texas resident can now sue Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for allegedly censoring their content after a federal appeal court decided Wednesday with the state law restriction how social media site can moderate their platform. The 15-word ruling aligned the law, which had been blocked last year, to take the to take effect, has significant potential consequences. Most most immediately, it create new legal risks for the tech giants and open them up to a possible wave of litigation that legal experts say would be costly and difficult to defend. Um, I do see that. Um, I'm not going to go through all the story, but I can understand what they're saying on certain parts of it. Um, if somebody's putting content out like us, we talk about a lot of things that is important in the world, um, like voting, for instance, which we're getting ready to vote soon. I believe it's a week and a half away before voting. A week from this coming Tuesday, we'll be voting again here in Texas. Um, Stuff like that need to get out. Over the last 2.5, almost 3 years, I have put out hours of content, hours, many views, especially like on YouTube. Um, and sometimes it get to the point, hey, at some point y'all making money off of it because people coming to your platform, just like all the platforms we're on. When we broadcast on one, we broadcast on all of them. So the same amount of content is going out. Now, here's the key. We doing the content. Yes, it's helpful information of what we put out, um, because we talk about reality stuff, real stuff on the show, and um, none of this made up stuff. Um, so that's something that we deal with, and I feel at some point they should have some type of conversation for these type of things. And yeah, I know it's a lot of content out there, but I think it do need to be restructured. What's going on?
Yeah, but
Marcella Smith is in the
the
house.
filters, like, what's the harm in really filters? I mean, it's Instagrams, like that's not really a place where you get like too much serious, newsworthy information. Is where you could just be silly and put dog ears on your face. Because
Yes,
chances are, you know what I mean? And it's not like, unless you're doing a crime, but at that point, you've already gotten your face out there. So it's not like it's a secret of who you are that you
exactly.
need to be tracked.
And not only that, um, please do not forget. Now, these lawsuits are coming out of Texas, and they're coming out of Texas for a reason. You have to understand, uh, Greg Abbott, Dan Patrick, Ken Patson, who is filing these lawsuits because he is the Attorney General of Texas. He's actually filing these to please a certain group of folks. When I read that yesterday that they filed the lawsuit against Instagram about filters on their app, and I'm like, who cares?
Right. And the
So
fact that they included like the lighting filter that lightens things up, like, um, if I want to be in black and white or sepia, it doesn't distort your face. Let me do that. Let me
exactly,
glow my face. I mean, it doesn't change the dynamics of your face. But
exactly.
whatever.
But
Some of the
but
things they're wasting money on, and trying to distract you from other issues that's going on.
That's the most important thing, is the fact that they are trying to distract you from the election that is about to happen, because they both are up for re-election. That's why it's so important that we get out and vote, because here it is. Why are you spending all this tax money? Well, apparently they filed the lawsuit last year, it was thrown out. Well, they did it this year and they got the right judge to agree to it. So now they able to do it. My thing is you have to be able to look between the lines. When I say look between the lines as for the motive behind these things. It's not just something pop out the blue that Texas doing this. Look how many lawsuits was filed during the election, trying to get overturn our election, all by the same people. That's coming out of our pockets. And while we speaking about our tax dollars, I'm sorry, I'm to the point now. Every time you cut the news on, you hearing about billions of dollars going out for stuff that is not important. Here it is. People are struggling right now trying to decide between food, gas, medication, or rent. Gas should not be an issue. None of them should be, because if you took care of the people, it wouldn't be an issue. Um, Marcella Smith said, how can they put a cap what people can do with their phone? Leave these people alone. Tax money is hard to spend. And they are trying to make this election an afterthought. Exactly. They want you to forget about the election. That's all they're trying to do, trying to get you to forget about it. But the problem is, you can't. You can't, because we've heard people come out and say, well, they can, it's no reason why gas price should be going up. That's what they say.
At all.
But regular unleaded, I think
it's $4.19 the last time I saw it.
Yeah.
But I haven't been out my apartment since I started my fast. So it could
it
could be $4.50 right now.
It might be. Probably $4.50. And they say by the summer it's gonna be $5 a gallon.
Can you imagine diesel? That's gonna be $10.
Well, my wife car used premium. I said, baby, you might want to start putting regular in there, because premium, it's cost, I think it's already like $4.50, something like that. And I'm like, look, that's high. That's extremely high. But hey, when you go to the polls, I hope you are registered to vote, because we talk about it all the time on the show. But when you go to the polls, definitely go and vote smart. Vote what's going to benefit you, because right now, what's benefiting us is from the leaders that is in charge. It's not good. And they already talking about the energy, how we may end up having blackouts over the electric coming this summer in the next couple of weeks. I think next week we're supposed to have some possible 100-degree weather coming. So I'm like, come on, man. Yeah. And they talking about we need to preserve the energy. And I'm like, why are we on this particular grid anyway? Put us on the national grid. We won't have
Because somebody wanted to be a bajillionaire and make monies off of us.
They got their hand in a cookie jar.
Like, for real, that's all it is. But see, Marcel's bringing up electric cars. It's like, where are they going to charge their vehicles? There's not that many docking stations where they can charge their, electric cars. And then if we're having this many issues with our power grids and everybody gets electric cars, then that's another problem. Like we only have so much electricity to go around. I'll stick with my gas and
And
limited mobility.
then people been coming around asking about um, solar gear panels. Um, I don't. I haven't done a research on those, but
I
now
think that actually saves you some money.
they say it saves you money, but now they're saying that you can actually store your energy, and if anything, if the lights go out again, this the key word they use. Well, if the lights go out like they did last year due to the ice storm, um, you will still have power at your house. And I had to break it down to the guy. I said, look, man, our winters like that all the time. The only exception was last year, we had somebody decide to do a rolling blackout. If you're doing a rolling blackout, you're not finna get the electricity started back. It's nothing, those lines gotta melt out. Just like if you end up busting a water hose on your car, um, and if you don't put antifreeze in it, guess what?
But
You
I
put,
also think it's on a separate line, and that's what it is when you have solar panels. It's
yeah,
on a different thing, so it would not be affected. Just think about like your battery pack for your phone. Um, that's a separate thing. If you
separate
have
line.
your energy in there, you're good. I mean, it's
But
just like a generator. You have a generator, and it's separate, like so they can cut it out and roll all the electric they want. If you have solar panel or your little reserve power, you're fine. But not
oh,
everybody has that.
and speaking of generators, whew, I had a guy come out and give me a quote on one. How much you think one may run?
Mm, never have one.
Never had one, and at those prices, I never get one because this dude came out gave me a quote. He told me over 14,000.
Yeah, I think it just depends on what kind of generator. I don't think they're that high.
The generator not that high, but the insulation, that's what's gonna
No,
get
like a little portable generator.
me. Okay, you talking about
That's
one
what
that
I'm
you put
thinking of.
gas in.
Like, yeah, like get you a little
Well,
portable, few $100s, you be fine. Like,
the only problem is with that, if I don't know how long they would run, but you
I mean,
also
you're
have
not gonna try to when you have a generator and depend on the size, you're not trying to do your whole house. You do
exactly.
necessary and essential areas. That's the whole point. It's not for, and like if you need to charge a phone or keep your computer on, you know. So yeah, I think in a pinch, I think that helps. If you have a heater fan, use that.
But if you don't have, well, I guess you could plug it up to the generator, but
Mhm.
don't put your generator inside the house. Um, but what we was looking at was basically trying to get a generator for if the lights go off, it automatically kick on. And two of my neighbors and myself got a price, and they were like $14,000 or something. I'm like 14,000. I'm going to a hotel. And I'm like, you
I
say
mean,
which one
even
is
still,
that?
the hotels they went out. So like
Yeah, I
it
started
depends
going
on
for it.
if they have power or not.
True. Marcella said it seemed like they are trying to do some jacked up stuff. Gas is extremely high and they're doing blackout. So even if I had a generator, I can't afford the gas to put in it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
true.
And then you don't want to store that much gas on your property because you would have to get the gas beforehand. And no telling how long that generator would run for. But I'm like, look, we have plenty of blankets. And I'm married, so we'll keep each other warm. Oh, that's another subject. My bad. Uh, but yeah, you're right, Marcellus. It'll be hard to afford the gas. And speaking of gas, I just ran about this. We know people been stealing gas and everything, but they finally caught 4 people yesterday. in that in Dallas. So shout out to Dallas police. Hopefully that well, they was feeling decent. I was gonna say hopefully the up our gas price go down, but there's some greedy folks out here. I doubt if it'll go down for a while. And what happened to the release that they supposed to release all the bearers to offset those prices?
Well, Jim Bob's not happy with his bonus check right now, so it's gonna keep going up until he can accommodate both his side chicks and his wife.
I try not to read comments when they come in. Um, Marcella said, "Well, I'm not married, so what do a lonely do when it get cold?" Probably have to go old school. Get you some long johns with forehand, um, and some sweatpants and
Or do what I see every year. They teach you how to make your homemade heater using a ceramic pot and a tea side. What is those tea light candles?
oh, the tea light candles.
Yeah, and there's a way it generates enough heat. I forgot the surface area, but you get you a couple of them and put it in your area in a nice thick blanket. Yeah, I think you'll be all right.
Okay, I do like we used to have to do back in the old days. If you have gas, cut the oven on.
Yeah, but if you have no power,
Well, you got an issue. Well, that's electric. That's electric. We have a gas. We have gas here, but yeah. See, that's what happened when you hear during the day. Everybody want to come out. FedEx been sitting out there for 10 minutes. I'm like, what is he doing? Just running the truck, burning up all the gas because he ain't paying for it. Yeah, but that's um, that's definitely something to think about. I want to get a generator, but do I want to spend that money? And then, to be honest, we've never had an ice storm that bad where lights was all out like that. It was just the fact we have some cuckoo leaders in charge that basically want to cut off the power. And don't forget, he did say before that happened, we will start having rolling blackout. But then after it happened, he took it off himself and said, "Hey, uh, we didn't know nothing about the blackout. You came
but
on the
also it
news.
wasn't rolling. It
It
was
was a
for
blackout."
15 minutes at a time, and alternate or whatever to conserve energy. They just took people off.
Now, what happened when they cut it off? It went off and the line froze up and they couldn't get it started again. That's what happened because that Sunday our lights went out for 30 minutes and they came back on. But the neighborhood that is next to us, they lights went off and it was out for like a week and a half. So we
Yeah, I
got
don't believe all that lines froze and all that mess. Uh, Considering you have places like Alaska and Canada, and they've never had any issues with things freezing and interrupting the flow of electricity.
well, it's probably the fact
So
that they
I don't believe that unless lines snapped. I would believe that, but that didn't happen.
well when you cut the power off and you don't have nothing hot going through those lines,
But it's
and you
still
cut
on. They just turned it off, and if they're rolling it out, it's not like say you have power and your neighbors don't. Then all of a sudden it
well
switches.
they
You
will
have yours is out and your neighbors on. It's rolling, so it's still going. The machine is still on,
well
so it's
they
still
have
heated up. So what the problem is?
it wasn't my neighbors. It was about
Well, no, I'm just
a
giving an
half a
example.
mile from us.
I know, but it's just an example. Work with me, CurtDog. I don't know whose power went on and off because mine went off for like 10 minutes and then it was back on.
It never should have
And
happened.
I'm in Denton County, so everything is worse in my area, and we was fine. But I'm also probably on an emergency grid as well, which again,
Because you buy a
it's all,
hospital.
it's like it shouldn't matter because it's all controlled by the same source.
Exactly.
So it
Um,
shouldn't, yeah, I don't believe that. oh, it was cut off for X amount of time and froze up. No, because
Well,
we've been through rolling blackouts before and had no problems.
maybe next time we'll just go to Cancun with cruise.
I don't know. We can't afford trips now.
And show,
Everything's
okay.
inflated. Everything's inflated except wages.
That's kind of like um the cruise we're going on. I booked the flight for it, and I'm like, a couple of months ago, these flights weren't that high.
Mm-mm.
I'm like, what the hell?
I
They,
mean, but think about the fuel costs. I mean, if gas is going up,
yeah,
so you paying for all that. But once hopefully, because I wouldn't have a problem with that if the man was paying for giving us our lease on our property that we have and stop
true.
siphoning our stuff. I'm gonna call y'all out in a little bit.
That's
All
true.
y'all.
And I'm sorry, I'm so ghetto. I got
Yeah, stop eating on the thing.
it's like I got hungry all of a sudden, and there's popcorn sitting right here, and I'm like, oh Lord. But I'm gonna move it if I can't reach it.
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
since your counterpart hasn't eaten yet. My 2 eggs and my 2 glasses of wine. You're interrupting that right now.
my bad. Marcella said in the COVID restriction have lifted, which also increased the price. Well,
I think that's just an excuse.
the thing is, we America that we hit. I think we hit 1 million deaths from COVID. Are getting ready to hit 1 million deaths because President Biden actually ordered the flags at half staff because we're going to hit that milestone. But a lot of people are not reporting COVID like they used to. Once they sent the home kits out, people stopped taking them.
Well, they're not. I mean, it's just like if you with somebody and they have a disease, they ain't gonna tell you if they got it. They're not experiencing any symptoms. They're just going through life because that's their right, you know. And it's like you protect yourself from other people, not me. Like
Exactly.
people are selfish, and that's why it's like people are taking these home kits or not, and they're probably infected and just living life, going to movie theaters, going to bars, having a good old time, exposing people.
Exactly.
But people are also getting careless with their own health and protection because they're out in masses, not wearing masks anywhere. Like
That's kind of like,
back to normal.
yeah, kind of like I went somewhere the other day. I stopped at a little store to pick up a couple items, and I was on my way back home. And when I stopped at the store, all of a sudden I hear, I'm looking around like, what the hell is that? This woman in there coughing. Of course, she didn't have no mask on.
Of course not. And it's always the ones with the worst cough that sound like they need to be in a hospital, that be exposed to the world and be around people. Just nasty.
Yeah, nasty. And they don't care. And
Mm-mm.
then um, my wife and I, we went somewhere and we were like, we was the only people in there that had a mask on, and people looked at us like we was crazy. But
I
when
had a
people,
coworker who mentioned that because when we go out in the hall, because we're secluded from everybody, but when we go out to like the common areas or restrooms, we mask up. And so one of my counterparts who does not wear masks since they lifted that ban, he looked at me and made a comment like, "Oh, you can take those off now." I was like, "You can. I'm not. Bye.
yep,
Stay out of my business."
yep,
Patient zero. So it's like you ain't gonna try to harass me out. I don't know your habits.
and
Yeah.
some people have. Uh, I've go to certain places and they like, oh yeah, you don't have to wear your mask in here. I said I feel comfortable doing it. Numbers is going up, and I'm talking about medical facilities. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh hell no.
Yeah, and maybe the main ones are like, you get your booster, you should be fine. Yeah,
No,
but you still get a flu shot every year. It doesn't mean that, you're not going to ever get it. Viruses mutate and change every day. When you
exactly.
get your booster, you can get the worst form of COVID, and you would have had the booster and still get it. Like it doesn't matter. It's just the luck of the draw.
Okay. um, so that's, I don't know. And I guess I go ahead and kind of hit on it. I was kind of skeptical if I was going to, well, not skeptical, but I will tell people this: listen to your body. Listen to your body. No matter how healthy you feel that you may be, listen to your body. Um, because anything can happen real quick. Had an incident that happened the other day to myself, and um, I know my body, so if something not right, oh no, I'm trying to get it checked out to make sure everything is okay. So had an incident the other day where um, my body telling me something, and the first sign they gave me, I'm like, okay, it's okay, everything cool. But then when it happened again, I'm like, nope, I'm going to get it checked out. So luckily, everything came back negative, so that was good. And but being in that medical facility, um, some of the things that went on, basically, how we was talking about some people being in certain places, coughing, no mask, and all of this, and being in that medical facility, they doing the same thing. And even when I was getting checked out, they're like, "Oh, you can take your mask off." Nope, I won't be doing it. And to be honest, I don't feel comfortable with you recommend me taking my mask off. I don't care.
Like unless you getting an exam with your throats and checking your nose, there's no reason for you
No
to
reason
stay
to
on.
take it off.
Giving me oxygen, sure. Put the mask on my face with oxygen.
Exactly. Uh, and I'm like, no, because I'm sitting out there in the lobby and I'm hearing for I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, oh Lord.
But hospital lobbies in general are disgusting. Because I mean, people are there for a reason. They're sick and they're
Yeah, they
waiting.
sick.
Yeah.
But
If you
but I'm
don't need to
like,
be there, don't go there.
sure don't. Sure don't. Don't go. But I was like, hey, I know my body and I knew something didn't feel right. I thank God that everything worked out. I do appreciate everybody for calling, texting, checking up on me. And my boy, Reverend Jerry Smith, I talk about him on the show quite a bit. And he constantly, when I text him, he was like, "Hey, I'm praying. I appreciate it." So that's the type of friends you need. Somebody who not gonna ask questions, they just gonna pray, and that's what Reverend Jerry Smith is to me. And I appreciate his wife, and I told him this in a text. I said, "Man, I really appreciate your wife because she allowed you to do the work that God had called you to do. Don't complain about it because they both were diehard Christians and they know what it entails, the details of it. Somebody need help, there for them. So, so shout out to my brother. Um, I'm trying to text everybody back or uh, give them a call and tell them thank you. I think I have about six more on my list. I've been doing it all day, so I think I have about six more people to do. But I appreciate everybody that have checked on me, and even Marcellus. I was I was so damn bored. I seen he was online. I started texting him, and Marcellus, he was like, "And we got to take care of our body as we get older. Listen to your body. I tell people this before I turned 40, I could read the bottom line on the eye exam with no glasses. But as soon as I hit 40, I had to get glasses. I'm like, look, now that I'm getting ready to turn 50, my body telling me other things. So I'm listening to my body and doing things to make sure uh, I stay with y'all and be healthy. Um, so
Yeah,
that's
I've been
how I'm.
lucky. I don't have corrective or need corrective lenses. I know my doctor recommended readers since I'm always on the computer to keep the strain and keep my eyes, I guess, decent. So,
Well, I think, and I was telling somebody this yesterday. I think where I messed up at when I turned 40, the doctor referred for me to get some reading glasses. But he also said you can also get bifocals, the no line bifocals, where you can have both in one. I feel like that was a big mistake for me because wearing the bifocals, I'm talking about me personally. I don't know if this is true or not, if it happened to other people, but I decided to get the bifocals, and for me, it's like I have to wear them all the time now. Because if I pull them off, I'm looking like mm. Sometimes if somebody send me a text, I don't have my glasses on, I'm looking like what they say. So it's a difference. I wish I never would have gotten the bifocals and just got the reading glasses because I didn't have to wear them all the time. So, but we're gonna hit on something else real quick. I know Miss Risky kind of hit on it, but not real deep.
it
Um, that guess it was earlier this year or last year.
was at the end of like last year.
Yeah, this California family. Um,
The
back,
Bruce family, I think that's their name.
what's the name of them?
The Bruce family.
The Bruce family, and they actually had all this land. The ancestor had all this land.
And it was seized by the government to do a national park. Because, if the government wants something, they can
That's
claim that it's a part of a national park, a gas line, a dam, or something necessary for the betterment of that environment. Any excuse to seize land from people. Unfortunately, they had done that a lot to Black families. And this family had a beachfront property that actually they didn't even do the national park. It was just sold, or they ended up putting resorts and things like that. So it was a resort town. Um, and I think the name of it was Manhattan Beach. But yeah, that family actually, years later, like it was taken in 1924, and they just got it back 2021. So they got their property back, and is worth multi millions in dollars. So my family's kind of in a situation like that, but we own the land.
hmm
We own the land. My grandmother pays taxes every year. We got the air of ownership because Black folks, we don't do wills, and we need to. We need to do better, people. But got all that taken care of. But these name brand companies bought up the you know surrounding acres of land. And I guess because we're like right in the middle of it, they're just like, well, they're not going to say nothing. So there have been leases written um, for other companies, but the money's going to these companies and not my family. So we're missing out on all these royalties that were supposed to go to us. And one of the men that's that we discovered was at the bottom of this was he is a PC in Crockett. Um, Hold on, let me get his name because I keep butchering his name because I'm gonna put him on blast. Um, he actually, our family actually hired him at one point to help us get leases for our land and to get information. Chris von der Hoff, PC Crockett. Yeah, I'm coming for you. So we're reaching out. Like we've had several lawyers try to, work this out, but it seems like nobody wants to go against these major companies like Kinder Morgan, who's got that pipeline on our family's land. You know, that 160 mile pipeline that went from what Midland to Padre. Yeah, that's on our property. But do we have a lease? No. Who's got it, and who's getting reaping the benefits of this? Chris Vander Hoff, and he's got his family, his friends, all with little bits, their hand, like you said, in a cookie jar, somehow bypassing us. And got Kinder Morgan thinking, oh no, we bought this land from 7J Farms. Well, where's your documents? Because the leases and titles don't say that we sold anything. It's ours. So we're just at this point, we've been through several lawyers. We're trying to get people to actually see it through and file the appropriate paperwork so we can get these leases and get the money and file suit before these people retire because they, like I said, Chris, he's fraudulently he's doing some fraudulent stuff on our property, and his great grandkids are gonna have their schools paid for. It's like, no, oh, that's run us our money. So if anybody knows anybody, I mean, I've reached out to the same organization that helped the Bruce family. It's called whereismyland.org, where they help get land back from like the indigenous people and black families who lost their property. So I reached out to them, and I'm trying to reach out to a lot of media sites so that we can put pressure on them. Like, stop sweeping this under the rug, thinking we're going to go away. Run us our money, so I can retire young and be on a beach somewhere. You know, so it's like my grandmother to be able to get the house she wants. You know,
Exactly.
stop stealing, folks.
And here's the key. And we're gonna ask if it's any attorneys, legit
Well, I'm afraid
attorneys.
of corporation because at the end of the day, you file suit, you're gonna get a percentage of that.
There
So
you go.
it's
And
pushing us, miss our money.
not only that, may have to find one in a different state because
Yeah, but I mean, we reached out to the one of the lawyers from the California thing. So like I said, we're trying to hit up everybody because apparently people in Texas, because that good old boy network runs deep, and no, but like even when we were fighting this a few years back, we were told, well, best of luck finding a lawyer.
yeah,
It was like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
Now
But again, like it's ours. What's the problem?
exactly. Now here's the
Give us
key.
our lease, give us our royalties, give us what we're due. It's our stuff. And of
Exactly.
course, here's the kicker: like you, my grandmother's like, well, if it's not my property, then y'all need to give me all the money I paid in taxes on this property. Ain't nobody trying
Hello.
to do that either.
Hello. Because that's what I was going to mention. Because some people may say, well, did they pay the taxes on it? They've been paying taxes on this land for how long?
It's been in our family since I don't even know how long. At
Before
least
you
100 years. But my great grandmother passed away when I was a little tot.
mm,
So, and I'm 45. So it's been in our family since
a long
a
time.
long time.
A
And my great
long
grandmother
time.
got royalties. And then when she passed, all of a sudden it just stopped. And the money was supposed to go in a trust. But I guess because, we didn't know any better. We didn't know anything about royalties and trust and all that stuff. I think the company that they just saw an opportunity. And it's like, well, nobody say anything. We're going to claim it. And we're going to buy the surrounding areas. So all the royalties go to us.
Yeah. Now,
And
have
it
y'all
happened, and we got cheated. And, it's like, no, that's not right.
received a copy of the deed?
We have everything. We have
Okay.
things that I don't even think they expected us to have because
Okay.
somebody was new that day and gave us all the documents.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
But we have everything, and we've done The title is clean. Like again, everything's in our name. We haven't sold the mineral rights. We haven't sold the land. We haven't sold anything. It's all ours.
Now
No.
I'm gonna do a whistle call since he loved filing lawsuits quite a bit. Ken Patson, where you at?
I know I wrote them too.
Where you at, Ken Patson? You
Even
trying
though
to
I'm sure they're not going to do anything because they probably getting their pockets lined because this Texas. You know,
allegedly, but I
I'm just
feel you,
saying. I'm just saying.
and you're
I said,
probably true.
it runs deep. I'm just speculating. I'm just saying. But
He
it
want
would
to file a
probably
lawsuit. Let's investigate this, Ken Patson. I'm still not gonna vote for you, but let's investigate.
Kinder Morgan. I'm putting you on blast because I do
Kinder
have stock.
Morgan.
I do right by my family.
Do the Oprah, whooping. So you do right by me. And so that's amazing because a lot of our ancestors have purchased land and then they turn around, um, somehow, some way, this land can be stolen from them, which is
And
not
usually
right.
because they don't tell their families about it. Because I know I lost out on my father's side some property. It was 115 acres of land that he was getting royalties on because they were actually drilling and getting minerals off of. Um, there was a lien on the property. I didn't know about it because he never told me he had land.
Mm,
Our family could have pooled our resources and acquired it, and that could have been all mine.
yeah,
And they put it up, and I called the title and the plate land, whatever they call
land
that
and deed.
agency, and they were like, "Well, we placed an ad in our newspaper, so, and that's all they were required to do."
Yeah,
Now, mind you, I live in Dallas. I don't live over there in Travis County. I don't. So the fact that that was their legal way to say, "Well, we put it out there," but you had his information and you knew he had a kid, so wouldn't you think they reach out to somebody in the
well,
family, somebody,
well, it depends on
So
if your name was on the deed or not. Because
no, I mean, but my father's he was still alive then, so
oh yeah, well,
yeah, like
somebody should have said something.
right, like, and that's why I'm like the families that they don't always tell you what you need to know. They just hope for the best. Well, my great grandpappy bought this land and then you died, but we don't have any of the information. We don't know where the land is. Da da da. Fortunately, our family knows where the property is. But in the case of my father, he never said anything, and he did a disservice to me. Like that was mine and only mine. He didn't have any other heirs.
Mm,
It was his father's. He had a sibling, but they had different fathers, and it was his father's land. So I missed out on this property that could have been like something that would have helped out our family and whatnot.
yeah,
So with this situation with my grandmother's side, um, again, some information still being withheld. Um, I don't know why. Maybe power just to keep that, the control. But it does families a disservice when you pass and then only one person has that information that you need to help you out. But like I said, we've been trying to get lawyers, and they don't really follow through with what we paid them to do.
and
And
that's a
we need
whole
somebody
nother
to go
issue by
after and
itself.
do what needs to be done.
I know personally, I don't trust a lot of lawyers.
Nobody does because I
They
mean,
make backroom deals.
well, and they also do exactly what you pay them for, but they don't volunteer what you need to help you in the long run. It's like, yeah, I filed this paper for you, like you said, but then they neglect to tell you, oh well, you also need this, and let's do that.
And every time you pick up that phone call,
Yeah, it's money.
that's a fee.
Yeah, so
That's a fee.
and it's a lot of money, and it's just like you literally filed a paper or not. I don't know. I don't know where this lawyer is. Uh, Andrew Carpenter putting you on blast too. Like I told you I would in your
Is
office.
that the last one that
Yeah, that's the one. He seemed promising though, and he was supposed to file or submit something to Kinder Morgan. that they were supposed to have 60 days to respond to, but I don't know if that was ever drawn up, if that was ever sent. I don't know. And I sent an email, but crickets. So I was like, all right, you finna go media route.
Hey, gotta call them out. We need to do a full story on this, and other people that have dealt with this type of stuff.
Even though Steve Noviello.
Exactly, Steve. Holla.
Yeah,
I know
holla.
she reached out to
You need to follow up with him because he's
because
starting to do his investigative stuff.
because the thing is, a lot of our ancestors really get robbed. Like, let me stop that real quick. You mentioned about a will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a will is great, but get it done right. Make sure you have an executive will. A power of attorney is only good while the person is living. Once they go, that goes. And I'm telling you this from experience. So you may say you have power of attorney, but that's only good while they living. Once they die, that's it. So uh,
And we
get
need to
your
we need documents for everything. You need life insurance. You need everything. Anything
exactly
that, if you have property, especially when it's over a certain dollar amount, those legal documents are going to be the things you need. A will. You always need a will because then you have to go to probate if you don't and try to prove who you are. So that's more money out of your pocket just to claim something that's been in your family. And if
true.
you don't, like we said earlier, if you don't have the money or resources to pay that attorney, guess what? They got that land. Goes to the state. They're like, ah, we got this land. We finna sell it because
True.
we can't prove you're an heir. We can't prove that your mama really wanted you to have that land. Like there's always a loophole.
Well, I
And
know.
wills help you make sure that that property stays within that family.
Well, I know my grandfather and grandmother. They had a will, and um, had a will because they owned some land out in East Texas, and the way it was set up right for that time. So, so now that they're gone, it's passed down, and my mom and majority of her siblings are gone, except two. They're still here, but the way that the will was written up, if something happened to my mom and her sibling, it goes down to the kids. Um, so, and it just each each one of their kids get portion of that property, they portion of it. So the thing is, sometimes you run across people that feel like you finna get money just because you have a piece of land. Well, the way it was written up, that land cannot be sold. That's the way it's written in the will. It cannot be sold in parts. It have to, if we ever decide to sell it, have to be sold all. You can't take one part and say, "Oh, I'm gonna keep it." Nope, all of it have to be sold. And right now, we're not trying to sell it. Don't want to. Trying to come up with ideas what we could do with it, but at the same time, um, you always have somebody.
There's too many cooks in the kitchen with different ideas.
Well, a lot of people don't have no ideas. They prefer to just sell it. And I'm like, no, because I was talking with someone yesterday and kind of find out they're building a lot of new homes down there. Now we're not talking about 1 or 2 acres. We're talking about a nice piece of land. Um, so I'm like, hey, I'm not willing to sell. Not willing to
But
sell.
also where that comes into play, I think if something was established on the property to begin with, like one, because we talked about this before, if it was making money and say you leased it to someone, I think people in your family would be more apt to be more involved because it's working for them. Otherwise, it's just a piece of land that
Yeah,
people are paying taxes on and they don't know any better. They don't know what to do with it. Like I told my grandmother, it's like you're doing all this, keeping this property. Well, we die and my niece is coming up. She ain't gonna keep that because it's not working for her. It's just stress. And yes, other parties are involved, because it's, my grandmother had, there three other siblings. So they're part heirs of this property as well. So it's like my niece, they could probably edge her out of it and start doing stuff. And she doesn't know who to contact, what to do, nothing. So it's like we need to start doing these things now and being more aggressive, leasing out the property. And like I said, Kendall Morgan's got that pipeline. They're not digging that back up. But I will get to a point where I'll get a bus full of Hispanic people with pickaxe and start drilling for wells. We'll mess up everybody's pipeline. It's like, oh, but it's not on our property. Okay.
Well, also, this is something that we all need to do. We need to let our kids know about the history of the family, because kind of like you just said, your niece, when she get older, she not gonna know nothing about their property, won't
Yeah.
do anything.
Right now, she's
Uh,
just hearing whisperings and it's not doing anything but causing grief.
exactly, and some people don't want to deal with that.
Right.
Um, but for me, I'm like, I've made suggestions of things we could do, and when you ask about someone trying to do something, it become crickets because nobody want to put money into it. Uh, Unfortunately, some people have um, they have this mindset that a lot of people don't have a lot of goals. I say it like that, and they think if it's not one of those situations where you could just immediately start making money, they don't want to invest in it.
Yeah, they're not all about putting the work in.
Exactly.
They just
Because
want to reap the benefits.
I actually made several suggestions about a couple of things. A couple of people say, yeah, that might be good. That might be good. A couple other people made a suggestion. Okay, well, we need to kind of meet up, talk about it a little bit more, and see what we can come up with. That was a year and a half ago, and we still haven't had that meeting about that yet. So, um,
Yeah.
so that's
But
where
also, there's some people in the family, that like it. It depends on your family dynamic that want to sabotage your progress. I mean, just like your peers, not everybody's your friend, and they kind
exactly.
of sabotage you because they don't want to see you go be great. Or again, it's a control issue because you can lay down a whole map of things like, hey, this is what we should do. This is the money we can get, and they're like, I don't know. Let me think about it, and then they're not because they're just dragging it out for no reason, hampering the process. So some people they just don't want people in your family to do well.
Yeah,
You just
and
thrive on misery and being miserable and talking about it.
and a lot of people is negative,
Yeah,
always have a negative attitude. I i personally, I stay away from people like that, because if only thing you got to say is negative things, I can't get involved with that. I'm not going to allow that to disturb my peace. And anything I try to say or do, someone always got something negative to do. But then when they see me doing it, they come back and they be like, I thought about doing that.
yeah. I want you to help them out, but don't want to do the legwork.
Yeah. Can you help me do this? Help me do that. Now, I'm normally willing to help anybody, but a lot of things is changing now.
Yeah, because when they say help, they mean they want you to do it for
Want you to do it. I'm trying to
them.
see who was pulling up in the driveway. I seen a Tesla pull up, and I know we don't know nobody driving a Tesla. But yeah, that's um unfortunately, it's a lot of people like that. They will talk negative about it, talk about you behind your back, and then turn around when they see that you're doing something, then they be like, oh, I thought you were just playing.
That's why I need to get my agent and hurry up and finish this story, because it's starting to go somewhere. Starting to get somewhere. I found that going back to my regular writing style, you know, pencil to paper flows better than me being on my computer because that's what I've been trying to do it on my computer, and I guess it's too much like work because
Yeah,
I'm on the computer at work. But when I'm writing on a notepad, it's like I was like,
it
oh yeah,
comes
we're
to
going
you
back to that
flows.
process.
And that may be what I need to do too, because I have so much on my plate, and it's kind of like, okay, I have to get some things off my plate, and that's what uh, everybody been telling me for the last couple of days. Look, uh, don't worry about that. Because what's crazy, when I went to counseling Tuesday, I actually told my counselor, I said, look, this is how I tell you, I keep it real with them. And I went in there and I told them how I felt. And eh, I think they probably need to they probably had their fingers bandaged because they was trying to type everything I was saying. I'm like, look, I'm stressed. I'm frustrated. I'm extremely stressed. And then the next day, my body said, "Yeah, you need to slow down. Stop worrying about shit." Um, so, so that's basically what we have to do as people. It's okay to ask for help. I'm very outspoken about it, but it's also okay to have self love, because self love is that's for you to refresh your mind. And I was talking to someone today, and they was like, "Hey, uh, I choose to have self love over dealing with stress, and that's what you need to do." And I said, "Yeah, I know. I know. I'm gonna get better at it. I'm doing better because I'm like, I'm not gonna let anything stress me no more. I have a lot going on, um, and I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired. So I'm gonna go with the flow, get back to my old ways. So if you call me and come with negative things, I'm be like, hey, let me hit you back. And then when I don't call you back, you know why. Don't come with me with negative. But I really appreciate everybody that reached out to me the last couple of days, um, and going from there. Uh, like everybody's still calling me. Got somebody calling now. Uh, Hold on, let them know I'm doing the show because they'll keep calling me back. I'm like, all right. Um, but yeah, self love is the best love you can give yourself. Communication. Don't try to hold all this stuff in by yourself. And I'm very outspoken because it's crazy because I think it was Monday. Monday morning, I was talking to my wife and I was telling her a lot of stuff that is on my mind. Because I got to the point I was not sleeping at night because I'm like, man, I'm tired. She like, how did you sleep? I said, not good at all. She said, well, look, you got a lot of things on your mind. You need to let things go. Start saying no to certain things. So um, so that was Monday morning. I was telling her that. Then Tuesday, I told my counselor. Then Wednesday, I find myself in the ghetto, uh, hospital. So, but I'm doing better.
I think all hospitals will get on now. They can't get
Not
anybody to do essential work.
not the mess I seen. I'm like, mm-mm. I'm like, look, I have insurance. What's taking so long? Um, but I was patient because I know I was being patient because when the guy was sticking me with the needle, I was calm. I was like, hey man, I have small veins. So if you have something to heat my arms up to make the veins come up, that'll be better. He said, oh, I'll be able to get it. We don't. Said they didn't even have the heating pads. I said, well, look, you could put some hot water out the sink right there in a glove and
You
do
could
it.
have just taken the top of your hand.
Couldn't find them. Couldn't
You
find
need
them.
to drink more water, sir.
Well, that particular day, I hadn't drunk any yet. But, and the guy was like, even if I drink a lot of water before I go, it's still hard to find my veins. Cause they deep in there and they small. So the dude stuck me the first time. I didn't say nothing. I said, okay, he digging around in there trying to connect with the vein. I'm like, okay. He pull the that didn't sound right. Pulled the needle out. And
He put it out.
and then he stuck me again in the same arm. Now I'm being patient. I'm talking to him. Cause normally you have one time to stick me. So then he go over to my other arm. Same thing. I said, man, if you let me go to the bathroom, run some hot water on my arm to get my veins up. He was like, I think he ended up telling me they didn't have no hot water. I said, well, damn. So I'm still being patient. I'm
That
not
sounds like
a
a
death trap.
science issue. If you have no hot water running through a hospital, I mean,
Exactly. So this other guy, well, they can't get me for X-rays when they do the X-rays come back. This other guy that was going to do it, who did my EKG, he came up and he was like, I told him, I said, man, look, if you get something hot to put on my veins for they could rise up, this happen all the time. He said, let me see. So he found a couple of heat things you rub together and they get hot. He found a couple of them. So he put one on. He came back, stuck me right in there. I'm like, okay, cool. He got what he needed. Then I got stuck again later on. I'm like, why y'all just didn't put an IV line in or something? Something that'll make it easy. So I'm surprised I'm not looking like a crackhead, meth head, arm all bruised up. I'm like, but listen to your body. Listen to your body. Uh, you'll be okay. If you don't, I know somebody who just came in on Facebook. Definitely, whatever platform you're on, please subscribe to the channel, like, share, tell a friend. We got a couple of more minutes here because my home girl's on that diet, and it's lunchtime for her. So,
yeah,
did you explain what
really
all?
bad. What?
Did you explain? I know you talked about the wine, but did you explain everything about the diet?
I mean, it's just a stupid 1970s diet that was posted in Vogue. But to be fair, which I'm a note in my blog,
Okay.
people back then they were on cocaine, and I mean, I've never been on cocaine, but I think it's a suppressant of some sort. So they weren't eating a lot anyway. But it's basically an egg for breakfast, a glass of wine, and coffee. Now, it calls for black coffee, but I have a Keurig, so I like my lattes. But either way, I'm still at 800 calories a day. Um, for lunch, it's two eggs, two glasses of wine, and a coffee. And then for dinner, a 5-ounce steak, and but you finish off your bottle of wine. And because Chablis is expensive, it's basically low end, $22 a bottle, and the diet pretty much calls for a bottle a day.
Mm.
Uh, I found Franzia, who is my friend, for $15. Bam, there you go. So
I thought you thought maybe you substitute for Boom Farm or something.
no, like
Oh,
no, that would defeat the purpose because it's a lot of calories probably in Boone's Farm and a lot of sugar. Like,
well,
but yeah, so basically the past few days I've been feeling tipsy all day, which is a weird feeling, when you're not on a beach resort somewhere. And I'm functioning, I'm doing well, but I think yeah, it's interesting. I don't have temptations around. So yeah, I did that. I just wanted to test it out, and I wrote about it. It'll post at 5 today.
okay. It should go more into details about it, so definitely check out our blog. Where can they find you? You said WordPress, right?
I think it's WordPress. I'll give it to you so you can post it on your page because I don't know links. Let me see. It may be on my personal page.
If it is,
Let me
send it to me in a messenger, and I'll repost it real quick. You can find out more about this blog because um,
Yeah, I have other stuff on there. I just don't blog as much, and I should. Uh, I should blog more.
I haven't been on WordPress in a while because I was on it at one point, um, especially when I first started writing. Um, I was nervous about writing, but then I would go on there and read some people short stories, and I'm like, hey, this is kind of interesting. I think it was it WordPress or what's the other
Well, they have
thing?
Wix,
Wix. I think
um,
it was
which I
Wix.
have that. I'll probably use that since I'm not gonna keep up with my riskybooks.com site. Um, let's see. That's my author's page.
And you should be able to put the links in the
Yeah,
chat.
I'm looking at it. I'm trying to see. I think that's right. We're gonna say this is right. I'm gonna send this to you.
Okay. And then I
Then you can look at all my random blogs.
post it on Facebook, and then we can support her, support my little
Okay.
sister.
It looks like that should be it. I didn't think that was my site, but I guess it is. It's
Oh,
very simple. Yeah. I
uh,
thought it was like WordPress slash something else, but I guess this is it because
yeah.
this is my whole blog with them. So, yeah.
And before we go, I forgot a story that you sent me earlier um, by Brittany Griner. Um,
About what?
Brittany over in Russia.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I'm sorry, I'm trying to cooking with Pinterest. Okay. Trying to add this on the Facebook because you know I'll mess around and forget about it. But go ahead and talk about that real quick if you don't
I
mind.
don't know nothing
And,
about it.
oh, you just sent it to me? Well, anyway, she tried to get house
No.
arrest.
Yeah, I mean, because whenever I send you stuff, it won't let me pull up the story on my phone. I have to do it on my computer. I don't know why. So uh, it's weird. Let me see if I can get to it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to post.
So let me see. Oh, there we go. It just, systems just don't want me to be great. But what is her name? Brittany Griner,
Griner.
the female basketball player who was arrested in Russia. Um, I guess they were trying to get her released or something, um, get her on house arrest or something, but all that stuff has been denied. The Russian detention extended her, I guess, her stay in their jails um, until we work out something else. But the United States classified her as wrongfully detained, and so they're trying to negotiate her release at this point. But that's pretty much all they have on her. They were working out deals and they were denied.
Okay. Well, I definitely just posted that link so people, hey, get out and support my girl. That's risky. Um,
There's a lot of blogs that posted back back in the day. Um, so and I was gonna try to do something cooking with Pinterest. So I would like go on Pinterest website and cook foods and document that process. So those are entertaining. One of them I wished I had done video because there were noodles all over the place. Because I don't adjust for the proportions to like servings. I cook it as is, and this recipe it called for like for a bajillion people. And I don't know if you know this, but noodles are heavy when you get a pound of noodles and then you add stuff to it. And I'm trying to dump and mix. It was chaotic, but it was good
mm,
though.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
I'm sorry. See, that's why I don't do Facebook that much. But I'm start reading some story on there, and I'm like, nope. I look at it, how long it was. I strode my finger up about 12 times, and it was still going. I said, nope, I'm gonna leave that alone. But let the people know where they can find you at.
Apparently, rskee.com. You can look at my WordPress uh, and all the social media, um, Twitter, Instagram. I live on. I do TikTok videos. I'm trying to do those more and more. Uh, Now, the riskybooks.com, I'm not going to have that. It's going to end in July sometime. I'm not going to pay to keep that domain. Um, and then that's pretty much it. If I have another, I know I have a Wix page, and I think that's Latanya H, which has my books, and you can download a free copy of book one on that site. And I'll probably send that to CurtDog because that's on my Instagram page
Okay.
in my bio.
And I will share it. Yeah, I'll support my girl because she's doing a lot of good things. I read two of her books, and I was like, Lord, interesting books. So, um, interesting. That's all I'm gonna say.
It'll mess
I,
up your life.
well, it at the beginning it may mess it up, but then you just gotta fight through it because nothing start off good at the beginning. But then when you get to the meat of it, you're like, okay. And it will make you think. It will make you think because um, when I read it, I was like, so many people, uh, not just in the black community, deal with these type of things, but they don't talk about it. So that's the difference. We don't talk about it. We don't want to talk about it. So so that's an issue within itself. So definitely support her. And can they still get
Yeah, I
the book?
never I never changed it. So like I don't go on that site, but it's mine. I pay for it.
Okay,
Like it's a site I maintain, which is very basic. My contact book information, all those things. So I
okay,
think I'm gonna start using that instead of the risky books.
okay. So definitely check her out. You can find her on all social media as well as myself. I'm gonna be honest. I'm trying to get better with Facebook. Send me a message if you're trying to reach out to me. Best thing you can do is send me a message on any social media. I'm on Instagram a lot. I need to get back on TikTok, but I haven't been on there in a while for the simple fact I just haven't been on there. But I need to get back into it because I can't even go live no more. So I need to do that on TikTok. Start going back live, get my stats back up. And I haven't posted on there in about 2.5 months. So I need to post some on there. Um, Other than that, I appreciate y'all for tuning in today. I know a lot of you was suspecting us last night, but due to um, some issues, we wasn't able to do it. So that's why we agreed to do a show midday. Uh, and if you follow us on social media, we will follow you back. So just to let you know.
So we're supposed to follow them back.
Oh well, that's your choice. I know if you follow the show on YouTube, I will follow you back. Matter of fact, we have two new followers. Please don't ask me their name right offhand. Car something, and then think Latoya or Latanya something, um, Tony or something like that. I don't have it in front of me, so I don't know right offhand. But thank both of you for following the show. And we had a young lady, which we're gonna have to do a follow up on the show. She sent the message saying, "Thank you for keeping my brother name alive." It was a brother that was killed, and we did a show on it, and she sent me a message. So we're gonna do a follow up on that show, and uh, and find out where it is today. So um, other than that, we appreciate each and every one of you. We love you. Miss Risky is hungry, and my popcorn is calling me.
Yeah,
So
I'm an hour and a half away from my meal.
all right.
Delirious.
So until next time, we love each and every one of you.